Alright, so I'll be the first to admit that I don't even have a TikTok page. But I wanted to do this video because I see books all over Reels, and I have been seeing so many YouTubers do the hyped Booktok books, reading vlogs, and I wanted to, join in and see what I thought about them as well. So for this vlog, I read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I read We Were Liars by Lockhart, and then I also have Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Let's start with It Ends With Us. I just found myself almost about to cry. But this book is amazing so far. So It Ends With Us is something that I've heard about a lot. I just never really decided to pick it up because Colleen Hoover has so many books, and I feel like all of her books are constantly raved about on Booktube and Instagram and stuff. This is a very heavy book. It's the story about a young girl who grew up with domestic violence in her household and she has a cycle of abuse just continuing on in her own life as she gets to be an adult. But then it also has alternating chapters. There's also these letters that she wrote whenever she was a teenager, and she was finding a friend in this boy named Atlas who she's lost contact with now. And this book is beautiful. I knew when I started reading it, maybe about halfway through, that it was going to be a new favorite. And I'm so glad that I read this. This book really made me cry so much throughout it. And their story is heartbreaking but beautiful and hopeful at the same time. So I have a most favorite quote. Imagine all the people you meet in your life. There are so many. They come in like waves, trickling in and out with the tide. Some waves are much bigger and make more of an impact than others. Sometimes the waves bring with them things from deep in the bottom of the sea, and they leave those things tossed onto the shore, imprints against the grains of sand that prove the waves had once been there, long after the tide recedes. Oh, I just love that, and I love what it means at this point in the book. It'll make you feel hopeful, it'll make you feel angry, but I feel like Colleen Hoover did such a good job, and it's so easy to read as well. It's one of those books that, despite how sad it is, you can pick it up after a long day when you're tired, and the writing style is very easy to read. Anyway, definitely a new favorite. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was beautifully done, and I will be recommending this to people, but please, please, please check the trigger warnings. There are plenty of scenes where violence and other things are depicted. So TikTok did it right with this recommendation. Next, I read We Were Liars. We Were Liars is a YA thriller. Just popping in to say that I've been reading We Were Liars. If I wasn't reading that for this video, that I would DNF it. It's pretty boring, repetitive, nothing's really happening, zero interest in it at this point. And I do want to see what the twist is. Hopefully in next update, I will end up liking it somehow. It's about this snooty, rich family who lives on a private island during the summer months. There's 4 teens in the family, and they are called the Liars. Something happens to the protagonist, and you can tell that she says she's kind of lost parts of her mind, parts of her memory, and she doesn't understand what exactly it was that happened to her. But you don't know what it is. Once I got to that point, I was like, girl, I don't even care. It couldn't keep me interested. So this book basically is touted as being really great because it has this amazing twist. Girl, let me tell you something. I guessed the twist. I think what it was is that up until that point, there was so much of nothing going on that my mind just had all of the time to sit there and ponder and think about what happens at the end. And I was like, well, maybe it's something like this, and then it was. I also didn't feel like it seemed like the stakes were high enough. It didn't really seem like enough of a thriller for me. I was ready to DNF this. But I do think that if you don't read a lot of thrillers and you enjoy YA, I do think that you'll probably go into this and end up liking it. It has that like YA thing at the end where it has to like tie everything up really pretty to make it nice and hopeful and, you know, nice for the kids, I guess. For me, I don't mind my thrillers being a little bit more messy at the end. So I gave this one 2 stars. I do feel like this one is Booktok kind of leading you astray a little bit. I wouldn't recommend this book to anybody. Final book I read for this video is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It is unraveling very beautifully. I just really love the way that Madeline Miller writes, and I love being able to get immersed into her stories. What's up, y'all? I'm checking back in with Song of Achilles. I'm about halfway through at this point. I'm not gonna lie, it is dragging a bit for me. The physical copy, the text is so small. I went ahead and checked out the audiobook just to help move things along a little bit. But I think the reason I'm so tired is because I bought this big ass bag of Cheez-Its not even a week ago. I think it's like replace meals because look, I went ahead and cut it down. It's easy to be tired whenever you're not getting any nutrition. Okay, so I just finished. They really save a lot of the emotional impact. I saw that there's actually a little glossary for the characters, and I wish that this was in the beginning of the book because it was really hard for me to keep up with all the characters, which I can't fault the book for. I was so excited to read this one because Circe is my all-time favorite book. This one is her first novel. I started hyping this book up, but only in my own mind before I'd even read it. So it's been like 2 years because I hyped it up so much that now I feel like the only thing that can happen is that it's gonna disappoint me, and then I was really afraid, but how the fuck am I gonna describe this book? So this book follows Patroclus, who's a prince, and he is very average, kind of unspecial. And he meets Achilles, and Achilles is a prince from a different kingdom, but he is half god, and he also has a prophecy that he's like supposed to be the best of the Greeks, so he's supposed to be the best fighter. And they're both around the same age when they meet. They're very young, and they end up growing up together. And there's this beautiful romance that exists between them, and yeah, it's a great mythology retelling. The writing in here is gorgeous. Her prose is beyond her years for sure. I do prefer the setting in Circe because it's on an island and it's just described so lush and colorful. This one isn't described as well as that one, but I think it's just due to the actual setting that it takes place in general. All these green tabs, these are romantic parts. I did give it 4 stars, and I would definitely recommend it. As much as I don't feel like this is overhyped, I definitely feel like Circe is underhyped, and I feel like it's underrated by a lot of people too. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just kind of boring and this is better, and you know, I will probably fight those people if we ever met in person. It's a beautiful romance, morally gray characters. Yeah, so I'm wrapping up this video. Again, I gave this one 5 stars, I gave We Were Liars 2 stars, and I gave Song of Achilles 4 stars. So all in all, I mean, that's pretty great. I don't know what that averages out to be. I think everything went probably how I thought that it would go, actually. If you guys like this video, you can go ahead and do a little thumbs up. If you want to stick around and subscribe, you totally can. I post a lot of different bookish content. I also have other videos here that you guys can check out if you want to. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.